More croquet from the Southeast region of the United States. We spent the last couple of weeks in the western mountains of North Carolina doing the Golf Croquet Nationals. Now we fly over Pinehurst and go up to the Chesapeake Bay area in Virginia to do the Southeast Regional 6-wicket American Rules Tournament. This area is rife with Civil War history. The address is Hartfield, Virginia. And the venue is the Chesapeake Bay Croquet Club, which currently has 8 courts on that pale section of lawn in the center there. The bigger green section above is about to become 12 more courts, making it a 20-court complex. This is how it looks now from Brian Hovis's drone. This is the USCA Southeast Regional Tournament held in June of this year. And the Chesapeake Bay Croquet Club is about to get a lot bigger. Turning the drone around and coming in from the north gives you another perspective on how big this place is going to be. Tournament director is Macey White, the developer of this complex. Steve Thurston is the tournament manager. Brian Hovis does the video camera work on the drone, and I do the editing and commentary. This regional is sanctioned and sponsored by the U.S. Croquet Association, as is this channel. Check out their website. They have a YouTube channel too, and that URL will be in the description with additional contact information to find out whatever you want to know about croquet. This is game 3 of one of the 2 semifinals. Cardo and Adam Lassiter split the first 2 games, both quite close. And here comes the tiebreaker. Adam Lassiter is a local Virginia resident. It's a -1 handicap. Has a lovely swing, and you may have heard me go on about him when he won the Blue Crab at this venue last fall. We put that one up in December. He and his uncle Rodney went at it in that tournament. Adam probably won the toss and elected to go first. I can't wait to see him get comfortable at AC, because I think his swing is going to fit that game beautifully. Cardo playing red and yellow is a -3. Based on the handicaps and tracking points, I think he has the 9th lowest American Rules handicap in the country. He's won the American Rules National Championship in singles once and has won doubles twice with Danny Honeycutt as his partner. I'm not sure about this, but I think he and his wife Beverly may have the lowest combined couples handicap in the country right now. He's a -3, she's a -1. I think Fred and Jackie Jones used to hold that title for a long time. And I'm still waiting to get the 2 of them playing each other on video. The loser does the dishes for a month and all that sort of thing. If you're looking for a reliable way to line up off-axis shots at hoop 1, watch this. He squares the mallet against the hoop to find the center of the start line at the end of his shaft, and he puts the yellow ball there to mark that point. Then puts his mallet down, moves it over an inch to the left from the center of the ball, and that lets him mark the ball on the end of the start line. He plays an 11-inch trimmer. He also could have centered the mallet head on the line and then eyeballed the difference between the end of the mallet and the 9-inch mark that anybody who makes a mallet for the American market will supply. And of course, if the end of your shaft is more or less than 36 inches from the ground, you have to make an additional adjustment. Adam's carefully assessing his chances of clearing yellow before he decides what to do with blue. Standard deadness board with the addition of clip position. A lot of first flighters would have left blue in the corner here thinking it was safe. Just make it a ripe target for a croquet out by red and yellow. And the seemingly logical thing for Randy to do here would be to have red give yellow a rush to hoop 2. He does that though, black comes in, goes to blue, and then he absolutely has to get both red and yellow off the lawn if he goes for hoop 2. He'd rather be behind in this break sequence early in the game, and he's going to try to wait and make Adam go first. Black's not going to be far enough off the center line of the hoop to avoid being cleared on a 2-back shot, so I think it's just rolling off up there. And now he can set up yellow to go to hoop 2 because black is not optimally positioned to come in long. Yep, changed his mind out of respect for what Adam can do. And now, with black squarely in the jaws of one, he has to be pretty careful. This goes out, he's giving away a 3-ball break.
I hear you, Dad.
He's using hoop 2 to protect black from yellow, but blue is for hoop 3. He's doing this because he's close to it and it's easy to do. Might have been better to put black in good pioneer position at hoop 3 instead. Would have been about the same length shot that Randy's got on red now. This is what that first 20 minutes was all about, getting the first break. He's going to have to play a pretty wide-ranging ball-to-ball break to get this going. And the broken record says this is the most important shot in croquet. And he did it perfectly. What, you wanted black closer to hoop 3? He put it where he can put black well beyond 3 in the approach shot to the hoop and continue a 2-ball break if he wants to. Uh-oh. I guess he can't hear me. On this hoop shot, I think the ball hops a little bit right there because the tops of the carrots are proud of the grass surface, so he called an equipment timeout, stopped the game, and fixed it. They pounded the hoop back in, and he continued from where blue is. There was no need to repeat his stroke, and he wasn't going to make some claim like blue didn't go as far as he intended it to, for instance.
Drive that one down. It's hitting the bottom of the. Yeah, I think number 2 is the same way. Is the blue corner right? Yeah. Right.
Looks like black is going out right behind blue, so he can give blue a perfect rush south to red and yellow on the boundary. which is why he didn't put them closer together. And that's Rick Shealy and Gil Roca playing the other semifinal on court 1. We put up their first game a couple days ago. I don't have their second game, obviously. A wide join, the way red and yellow are positioned, is a very effective deterrent against a croquet out. It doesn't prevent an attack like this, but it does assure that the opponent's going to have to get significant deadness to pull it off. Blue is for hoop 4, of course, and everybody else is for hoop 2. Red is clean, but Gil still walked all the way over there to make sure red had an open shot on black and yellow so he could put blue wherever he wanted to. And notice that black is dead on red. This is going to happen 5 or 6 times in this game. He's obviously not trying to roquet anything. He wants to get between these two balls. And he got an even better result. Fortune favors the bold. Virgil in the Aeneid, 19 BC. And more recently, Matt Damon in some commercial I don't remember. If you're going to try this trick from close enough to control it, make sure you put the blocking ball close to one ball or the other to prevent a jump shot. And you can bet that the fact that yellow was live on red was part of Randy's calculation when he took that long shot. And now Randy gets a chance at a break. And he didn't get as far as Adam did. Blue's already dead on red and black, but black's live on both blue and yellow, and this is black's hoop. And red's 40 or 50 feet away, so it might be worth getting 3-ball dead here.
Randy, do you concede the wire?
I can't tell for sure, but this is not an automatic wire. You might have had a referee check it. It's when any part of the striker ball is in the hoop that the wire is automatic. This is just personal preference probably, but his other choice would have been to roquet yellow rather than take the wire. That would have put yellow up closer to the position where he could wire it from red on a little short croquet stroke from blue and still gotten back to black very nicely. And I know anybody can figure this stuff out with hindsight, but had he rushed yellow and had blue out from behind the hoop, he could have put blue a lot closer to black and prevented what's going to happen next.
You spot it for you.
Yes.
Blue got 3-ball dead to give black what honestly looked like a really good break opportunity. But when the break falls apart, all you're left with is that albatross around your neck. Which may not plague him for long.
I can move.
He's considered 3 ways to manipulate blue and black's deadness, and finally decided that none of them was worth it. Dual purpose shot. If you miss the okay, you still set up for partner. Which forces blue either to get out of bounds or take the shot. He can't just set up. That's one of the straighter backswings I've seen in a long time. Every now and then, these guys just try to make you and me feel better about ourselves. checking that red has a very challenging cut rush to make hoop 3, and he knows Randy's not going to come get him now because yellow's dead on blue and red. He needs to cut that albatross loose. I think this fits what Bob and Ted call chase theory. He's harassing yellow and red at their hoop while blue tries to get clean. If Adam watches this, maybe he'll comment. I'm not sure what he's doing here, except maybe checking to see if the ball's in contact with both stanchions at the same time. I know, what am I doing giving advice to a -3, but most of our top AC players and all the international players would have done that approach with a drive shot. That puts yellow quite a bit further down past the hoop. It means you don't have to baby the hoop shot with red, improving your chances of getting a forward rush on yellow if you make the hoop. This is somewhat tempting. Yellow's live on black. If he hits black and doesn't knock it out, he can send it back to red. Or if he's incredibly lucky, use it to cannon blue out of the hoop. But it would make him 3-ball dead. His hoop 2 is a long way away, and if he misses, he gives blue a perfect croquet out opportunity. And red's a long way away. But just not tempting enough. Fortune may favor the bold, but even the bold have to pick their battles wisely. Red's dead on both blue and black. I wonder why he didn't try harder to set up in front of two. Both yellow and red are dead on blue, and blue's only dead on black. I think he was just trying to get between them. But look at that.
You love doing that to me, man. Good shot. Why you want to scare me?
Red's only live on yellow, as you can see. He may have to move it to keep from giving red a wiring lip. And he may not want to send it all the way to black because he can't control where it's going to end up. There's a lot of furniture between red and black. But it turns out he's fearless. That I'm not sure about. Maybe he thought he wouldn't get the rush on yellow if he tried the big wide split, putting blue over near 3. And he's going to do a ball to ball to keep going, but we'll never know. And again, both of those balls are still dead on blue. Blue's for 6, live on red. This just keeps red from setting up for 4 without getting dead on it. And this must be a tight that's above my pay grade. Set up for 2, or because blue is live on black and red, take advantage of what Randy did with red. Whoa. Now Adam has pioneers at 6 and 1 back for blue, or at 2 for black, whichever he decides to use. He did that twice in this game, once here and then once at hoop 6 from about 20 feet away. I don't know if this next bit was intentional or not, but it's very useful if you get the opportunity. You put the object ball 18 inches past the hoop, just off the center line in the direction that you want to go. And then when you make the hoop, you knock them both into perfect rushing position. It's more likely to come up if you're approaching the hoop with a reverse takeoff from 1 to 2 feet behind the hoop. And of course, it doesn't work at all in AC because that hoop shot would have been a Croquet. Now, this approach to the hoop he does with the drive shot, like I was talking about it. Hoop 3, he put yellow down by the peg, and now he doesn't have to baby red. Better chance of making the hoop and still having a decent rush on yellow. I think he's going to see whether black has a hoop shot or not. Blue's up in corner 4. Even with that miss, he's making it riskier for black to set up. Adam's ahead by a hoop. I don't know that he really needs to take this risk. Maybe he's hoping that red will knock him through the hoop. But with yellow to work with, red doesn't have to take that risk. Ooh, maybe he'll cannon black out of the hoop with yellow so he can then rush it to 6. Sounds like a straight triple peel maneuver in AC, doesn't it? This is why I want to see Adam play AC.
Yeah.
Yellow's not going to be there to give blue a break when it rotates red. He could wire black from yellow at hoop 6 and give it a pioneer, but then that would give yellow a wiring lift. More tactical chutzpah from Randy. He's assuming that blue's not going to make 6 off red, because if it does, it's got a 3-ball break. More fortune favors the bold, or just dumb luck. That must have rolled off. There's no way he was trying to do that. And now we're tied at 7 apiece. Blues only live on red.
Time. What's the time? 5 minutes?
5 minutes left.
A lot of this game has been about managing the opponent's deadness. Now it's going to be the whole game.
Right behind you, Randy. Guys up. Yellow's clean. No, red's clean. Yellow's clean. Yellow and red are both clean. The board's right. Leave it looking good.
And then there's managing your own deadness. That was an exemplary turn. Carefully marking where red went out because it's critical.
Timeout to set the ball in.
Timeout for ball retrieval is only permitted in the last 15 minutes. And timeout can only be called by the striker, who in this case is Adam, because in the last 15 minutes, his 45 seconds started when red crossed the boundary. Before the last 15 minutes, his turn doesn't start until that ball gets marked in. A discussion ensued about where red went out, which is critical because red is hindering black's attempt to get back to partner blue.
153.
153 left.
Bob Kroger suggests that a long shot trying to get into a critical position next to a ball on the boundary is a good time to call the referee to do the marking in. This is the fourth or fifth time in this game that could have been considered. Of course, if red had gone by black on this side, that would have put it on the boundary right behind black, and Randy could have put it on this side of black a millimeter away and force black to either take the hoop shot or go to corner 4. In any event, had red not hampered black's shot, black would have had to do a jump shot over yellow to get close to blue, and then yellow would have just turned around, rotated red, and taken off to corner 2 to break that up. They brought the clock down here where the action is because they knew it was going to be calling timeout repeatedly.
$52 seconds.
That's Adam's uncle Rodney on the clock. And Adam had obviously called timeout, which is why Rodney announced the time left. Very interesting tactical choice here. A rush to the attack makes it a lot easier to pick up a ball on a boundary that you're approaching from 90 degrees. But if he did that, it would leave red over there vulnerable to blue when he got done. So instead, he's opting for the far more dangerous takeoff to the attack to a ball on a boundary he's approaching from 90 degrees because he's confident that his technique will support his tactics.
Time. First ball, last turn.
Fred Jones was fond of pointing out that the rule book doesn't say anything about announcing first ball, last turn. Let them figure it out for themselves, he said. But everybody does what Rodney just did.
Out.
He needed to get yellow off the lawn because if Adam rotates red, he can rush yellow and make one back to tie. And if he could get the 2 back for the go-ahead hoop, Randy would be so far away with red, he'd have to do something truly heroic not to lose this game. And because black is 3-ball dead, that's the game. And Randy, Cardo wins the battle of basically deadness management to take game 3 by a mere 1 hoop over Adam Lassiter and get it to the final of the Southeast Regional against Rick Shealy.
Who was first ball?
Yellow. Yellow.
Yellow. So black has a shot. Black 3-ball. Right.
He blanks it off Brian's easy.
Black 3-ball, right? Do you have a hoop shot?
So give us a like, subscribe, check out the USCA. Join us for the final in the next couple of days.